great to see you all here today. I'm Bill Scanlon, Mayor of the City of Beverly.
Yes, you are.
And we've got with us today the Governor of the state, and we're really happy to have him here in Beverly. You know, when Governor Patrick and Lieutenant Governor Murray took office 3.5, a little more than that, years ago, they had to play the cards they were dealt, but they weren't very good cards. Jobs were being lost. State revenues were falling fast. Soon after, the stock market took a tumble. It wasn't a very good scene, but through thick and thin, this team, led by Governor Patrick, has had a measured, thoughtful approach to the problems of Massachusetts. And in the face of reduced revenues and all these other problems, they have tried to be fair to all sides. And I think they've done a very good job in that regard. Now their efforts are beginning to show. Massachusetts is 3rd out of 50 states in new jobs. Massachusetts has added 60,000 jobs in the last 6 months. And in the month of August, when usually not too much happens, 4,000 jobs have been added. So it's beginning to turn. The medicine is beginning to work. And our children are getting the best scores across the nation in standardized testing. We're #1 as the education state. Well, all this is really good stuff. On a more local level, because of the governor, the dream of the North Shore Vocational Technical High School, marrying with the Aggie, which we've been working on for about 14 years, is now going to be reality. And that means something very real to the 17 communities that are directly connected, and also to the other communities that will be benefiting from the presence of that school, which is going to make this entire region more cost effective, because we're going to have a reasonable supply of competent blue-collar workers who can pick up those jobs that have gone begging in the past.
Right now, I feel like I have been so lucky to serve with this governor. This is a guy who has had a steady hand, and he's paid the bills. He didn't put the bills off to the next 10 years or 15 years. We are sitting here from bills when we did have money that were put off for political reasons. That's disturbing to me as a citizen of this Commonwealth, because I need to know and count on the fact that people are taking care of us at the current time and not taking care of a sense of maybe control or power or whatever else they want at the time. So I say that this man has had a steady hand, and I want to thank you for that. I want to thank him for not sending the bills to the future, not sitting here going after whatever your next goal or job is. You've done the one that you're here, that we're here for, we count on, and you're here doing it. And that is a huge, huge strength in our governor, and we are lucky to have him do this.
Well, to continue the great work that Mary has done for the city of Beverly. She's put her heart and soul into this city. This is my first time running. I've never been a candidate for public office before. Asking people to take their time and effort to support me has been so heartening that so many people have done it. But we've only won round 1. We've got one more round to go. So I pledge to all of you that I will work twice as hard as that other guy to make sure that we keep this seat into the Democratic hands. I'm a Beverly boy. Beverly boy, I love this city. It's a terrific place to raise your family, and I am going to make sure that come January, I'm working with the governor up at the State House.
Republicans think that they repeat a mantra long and hard enough, it's going to happen. So if they keep telling labor how bad things are and how they should stay home and they should be depressed and they shouldn't go out and work, then maybe it'll happen. But every time I've been in the company of labor, I hear about not going to happen this year. We cannot go back to previous years. We have to move forward on this. So thank all our friends of labor for the great job you're doing here. after we left Danvers, we went out to Boxford, home of a certain other person, right? And probably the best reception I've had all year. Right? Which only goes to show you, to know him is to vote for Tierney. We probably gave out 300 stickers, and God knows how many bumper stickers. We had the town clerk, the police chief, the fire chief, half the police force, the librarians, the teachers, all out there horrified that somebody in their town would have pictures of the President of the United States dressed up as Osama bin Laden on his lawn. That he would have a big car that goes around and says, Obama, our badass mistake, America, on the back of his car. Communist, socialist, and lazy. And when the press asked him, what's the connotation with lazy here? So, oh, well, we really meant inexperienced. It was too many letters. Communism probably is too many letters, and, you know, socialism isn't. So this is who he is. They'd like people to forget about that now, but we're not going to let them forget about it. That's a bad, gross lack of judgment, lack of character. We already have enough obstructionism in Washington. All right, his motto is, he's clearly on the tape saying on YouTube, if he gets to Washington, he's going to vote no against every single bill. I don't think no's the answer to America's problems. All right, just like the governor, we inherited quite a pile when we got in. All right, now his has accumulated over like 16 years of Republican governors. Huge debts in transportation, huge debts everywhere on that. But we have from 2001 to 2008, where we had George W. Bush come in with a projected $5.6 trillion surplus. A projected surplus of that size, and blow that away and another $11.5 trillion of debt to boot. I mean, that's quite a feat. Second only to the feat is immediately after he got out of office, they acted like the CIA and they disappeared him. All right, he's gone. They don't want him around at all. Because the worst thing that can happen to them is that they no longer be able to blame what's going on today to the people that are in office now. What they would like to do is say, well, how are they going to get back? They're going to make people feel so depressed about the mess they created and so dispirited about what's going on, they'll forget who created the problem, blame it on the people that are working to get out of the situation, and so they get back in and repeat the same behavior they have in 2001 and 2008. Another 8 million jobs lost. Another 32% of our retirement funds lost. Try again to have Social Security be privatized. I mean, right on down the line, this is what they say they want to do if they get back in power. So we cannot allow that to happen. We have to go right back to Harry Truman. We got to give them hell. Otherwise,
to all of the elected officials who are here, to all of you, everybody, you are the way we make a strong democracy. And I want to thank you all for being out today talking to people, engaging with people. And I hope you spent some time talking to people who don't necessarily agree with us. I hope that you went out and modeled the kind of politics we believe in, which is politics that says you don't have to agree on everything before we work together on anything. We've got to get out there and make the case. And sometimes I think Democrats spend a lot of time on how to win. We need to talk about why we should. And you heard the case here for why we should. Yes, we've been dealt a very difficult hand, and people look at me sort of sad sometimes. So, oh, Governor, I'm so sorry. Look, it's not my hand, it's our hand. The question is, are we just going to turn away from each other and say everybody's on their own and good luck? Or are we going to act like we're in this together? Because we are in this together. And we're going to rise together. But let me tell you, there's something I learned growing up on welfare on the south side of Chicago. You can be sure I heard the voices of folks who said, just be angry. Just be mad about your circumstances. But fortunately, there were more voices saying, you know what? Plan. The combination of optimism and effort, or as my grandmother would have said, hope for the best and work for it. That's how you move forward. And that's how we have moved forward. And let me tell you what I mean by that. 4 budgets now. Responsible, balanced, on time. Not something many other states can say. $4.5 billion in spending reductions we have had to take because that was the responsible and necessary thing to do. But we invested in job creation, in health care, in education at the highest level in the history of the Commonwealth, and we're getting the results. Third in the nation in job creation over the last 7 months. 47 other states wish that they could be us right now, and we've got to keep that going. First in the nation in student achievement, in health care coverage for our residents, in veteran services, in clean and alternative energy initiatives, not by accident, but because we know if we focus on these and a few other areas and get them right, the Commonwealth will be strong, not just here and now, but for a long, long time. You hear folks talk about how business as usual ought to be changed. By the way, the folks who are saying it, the opposition, are the ones responsible for that business as usual. They talk about fixing the pension system, but we delivered the end of abuses in the state pension system. They talk about raising the ethics bar, and yet we passed the most aggressive ethics and lobbying reform in 20 years up on Beacon Hill. They talk about dealing with the complexities and the expense of the transportation network, and for 20 years about shutting down the Turnpike Authority. Well, that's what we did. They talk about civilian flaggers at state construction sites. We did it. They talk about lowering your auto insurance premiums. We did it. They talk about doubling the charter school cap in underperforming school districts and other education reforms. They talk. We do. That's the difference. They talk. We do.